Did you know that the INFJ personality is the rarest in the world? Less than 2% of the population shares this unique type. Do you ever feel like you're different or maybe misunderstood? Ever feel like you know more than others but can't explain how? In this video, we're going to explore 10 signs you're an INFJ, the world's rarest personality type. If you recognize a lot of these signs, you might just be an INFJ too. Curious to find out? Stick around to see if you fit into this rare personality type. Get ready to be amazed. 10 signs you're an INFJ, the world's rarest personality type, starts right now. Chapter 1. You're on a different wavelength. As an INFJ, you might feel like you're on a different wavelength from most people. That's because INFJs have a really strong intuition that lets you know things without needing any solid proof. This can often make you feel isolated or misunderstood by those around you. Intuition comes so naturally to you that sometimes you just know things or understand people in ways others can't. But the problem is, it's hard to explain this to others. Does this ever happen to you? That feeling of being on a completely different level of understanding can leave you feeling a bit lonely, but it's also a sign you're likely an INFJ. Your mind sees things others can't. So, have you ever felt like you don't quite fit in because of this? How do you handle this feeling of being out of sync? Let's move on and see what other signs might be spot on for you. Chapter 2. You're a perfectionist and tend to procrastinate. Another big sign of the INFJ personality is perfectionism. You probably feel constant pressure to be perfect, to exceed everyone's expectations, and to do everything at the highest level. But the catch is, this drive for perfection often leads to procrastination. The fear of failing or not doing something perfectly can be so overwhelming that you end up putting it off. Have you ever procrastinated just because you couldn't bring yourself to start unless it was perfect? This cycle is pretty common among INFJs. The pressure to perform flawlessly can sometimes paralyze you, making it harder to even begin a task. So, how do you feel when that perfectionism takes over? Does it stop you from getting things done? Let's move on to the next sign and see if this sounds like you too. Chapter 3. You're perceptive and good at reading people. INFJs have this unique ability to understand people's emotions and motivations. You don't just see what people do, you can feel why they do it. This is a huge sign of being an INFJ. Your intuition helps you read people on a deeper level than most can. You're fascinated by how other people think, and you love getting to the heart of what makes them tick. But this heightened perception can also be draining. Always picking up on everyone's feelings and motivations can feel like a heavy burden sometimes. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by what you pick up from others? How do you manage this intense ability to read people without feeling like it's too much? Let's jump to the next sign. Chapter 4. You keep a small circle of friends. Even though you may know a lot of people, your close circle of friends is usually very small. INFJs are super selective about who they let into their lives. Your intuition tells you who shares your values and who is just passing through. Have you ever found yourself distancing yourself from people because something just didn't feel right? INFJs are pretty quick to figure out who's real and who's not, thanks to that strong intuition. When you do form a bond, it's deep and lasting. But if someone betrays your trust or acts disloyal, you won't hesitate to cut them off. Ever had to walk away from someone who didn't meet your standards of loyalty? How do you handle it when someone isn't being genuine? Let's move on to the next sign. Chapter 5. You're deeply empathetic. Empathy is one of the most powerful traits of an INFJ. You don't just understand what people are feeling, you feel it too. When someone you care about is going through something difficult, you can easily put yourself in their shoes. This ability to empathize goes beyond just understanding people. You're able to connect with their emotions in a way that feels almost personal, but it can be a double-edged sword, right? Sometimes, feeling everything so deeply can leave you drained or even overwhelmed. Have you ever felt like you were absorbing others' emotions too much? How do you protect your own emotional well-being while still being there for others? Let's check out the next sign. Chapter 6. You can't stand small talk. INFJs don't do well with small talk. You're not interested in chatting about the weather or the local sports team. These conversations feel like a waste of time and energy to you. You crave deeper, more meaningful conversations that explore feelings, values, and what really matters in life. Does endless talk about trivial stuff bore you? You want to connect with people on a real level. Small talk just drains you, and you'd rather dive into the important stuff. But not everyone is looking for that, and it can be tough. Ever feel like you're the only one who wants to have a real conversation? How do you handle those situations when everyone else is stuck on the surface? Let's move to the next sign. Chapter 7. You're always focused on the future. INFJs are constantly thinking ahead. You're always working towards your personal goals, planning for what's next and thinking about what's coming up down the road. You're not the type to dwell on the past. Instead, you're always looking forward, figuring out what steps you need to take next. This can make you seem like you're constantly on the move, right? But it also means that when you feel stuck, whether in a relationship or a job, you'll likely make the decision to move on rather than stay where you are. Does that sound familiar? How do you balance this forward-thinking mindset with living in the present? Let's check out the next sign. Chapter 8. You feel a strong urge to help others. INFJs have an intense desire to help others, especially those who are struggling. Your empathy and intuition drive you to be there for people, even when they don't ask for it. This need to help can sometimes be overwhelming. You find yourself putting others first, often neglecting your own needs in the process. Have you ever gone out of your way to help someone, even when you had your own things to deal with? This kind of giving nature is natural for you, but it can leave you feeling drained. How do you find a balance between helping others and taking care of yourself? Let's move to the next sign. Chapter 9. You're extremely emotionally sensitive. INFJs feel emotions more deeply than most people. Your sensitivity makes you more aware of how others are feeling, but it also means you're affected by things that might seem small to others. Have you ever found yourself deeply hurt by a comment or situation that others didn't think twice about? This emotional sensitivity is a core part of being an INFJ. While it helps you connect with others, it can also make you more vulnerable to criticism or negativity. How do you manage when someone's words or actions sting more than they should? Do you have strategies to protect yourself emotionally while still staying connected to those around you? Let's wrap this up with the final sign. Chapter 10. You care deeply about other people's well-being. Finally, INFJs are always concerned about the well-being of others. You're not just interested in helping, you want to make sure people are truly happy and thriving. This drive comes from a genuine place of caring. You feel fulfilled when you're able to contribute to someone else's happiness or success. But that caring nature can also be draining, especially when you're carrying the emotional load of others. How do you manage to care without burning out? Have you found ways to look after yourself while supporting others? So, how many of these signs did you relate to? If you identified with a lot of them, congrats. You might just be an INFJ. It's an amazing personality to have, with strengths that make you stand out, but also challenges that come with it. If you liked this video, hit that like button and share it with anyone you think might be an INFJ too. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know which sign resonated with you the most. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. See you next time.